Alright, what's up everybody? This is Rob Shax. Today we're going to be doing the next video in my rival series. I'm going to be doing today some American cars here. We're doing the Mustang SVT Cobra R from 2000 and we're racing that up against the Camaro SS also from 2000. So what I'm going to do is same thing I've been doing with all my past videos in this series. I'm going to drive them both on Complex Stream, kind of talk about both, give a little bit of information about each, then do an AI themed race between them, and then do a max speed test to finish off the video. I'll put the timestamps below so that's a little bit more convenient for people and for me. And so yeah, hopefully y'all like the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And yeah, let's get this channel up to 1,000 subs. Give me a like and all that stuff, and you know, let's have a good time with this one. So yeah, I'm doing a little bit of a slower car today. I've been doing all the race cars, but I want to save some of my race car videos for later videos because I don't want to only talk about the race cars in this game because there's a lot of great road cars in this game too. So we are doing the Camaro SS in this one. I just really like this car. It's a good car. Sounds good. I definitely would give the sound over to the Mustang though. The Mustang sounds fantastic in this game. Definitely nailed the like V8 feel for the Mustang. Yeah, we're rolling with the Camaro now. I always miss this first turn. That's just, you'll notice that. So it's not really the car's fault. I just tend to miss that. The little 2 braking light seems to come on a little bit late, and I just need to get used to that. But Complex Stream is a cool course, so I'm not like against that. But yeah, so we're talking about the Camaro today. The overall, people really don't seem to like the 90s Camaros. I think they're okay. So this is like the 2000 one, but it's technically the same body style as the 98 and the Z28 and all those cars, so it's not terrible. It's just a little bit more updated because the 2000s one has a little bit more of a new age look to it. The Camaro's good though. I think if I had to give, you know, I tend to notice with these rival series is a lot of these cars, they basically have their like rival version of the car, and one car tends to be a little bit more powerful, maybe a little bit less in the handling department. With the Camaro and the Mustang, it's kind of hard to distinguish that, honestly. I think I would give the power vibe to the Camaro in the low gears, and in the upper, it seems like the Mustang has a better top speed overall, but it seems like it's the same idea as before, where the Mustang seems to have the lower acceleration and lower gears. The Camaro seems to be a little bit quicker off the line. In terms of handling, they both seem to be very, very similar. So this is going to be more of a like opinionated situation here. It seems like these cars are very, very, very similar. In terms of aesthetic, I think the Camaro has a good look, but the SVT, I think the Camaro looks better than the Mustang from that year. The like blocky style of the Mustang, to me, I don't like it as much. But I think the SVT with its like making it look more sleek, that car looks better than the Camaro SS. So like, you know, I can do a video later if I wanted to of the like Z28 versus like Camaro or Corvette Grand Sport. They don't have other Mustangs in this game as opposed to in Gran Turismo 2. They had the GTs. They bring back GTs in Gran Turismo 4. But I think that the Z28 doesn't look as good as like a Mustang GT from 05. But I think the SVT looks really good compared to the Camaro SS, which is like both versions of the like updated 90s version of the car. I think the SVT Cobra looks a little bit better than the Camaro SS. Because I mean, the Camaro SS basically just has better headlights. That's pretty much it. It looks almost exactly the same in every way, shape, and form. But that's what I think about with the aesthetic of it. I think the SVT does look really good. There's a train. I don't know if y'all can hear that. Y'all might be able to hear that. But leaving it in because I'm an authentic channel. But yeah, so it's just, I think the, you know, SVT looks better. I think in terms of handling, I would give the handling to, I don't know if I said this earlier, I can't remember what I said, but I think I would give it to the SVT as well. I think the handling goes to the SVT because it's more, again, they just focused more on the, like, it just seems like the SVT is way more like almost like a street legal racing car, and the SS just looks kind of like the same thing as a Z28. So that's why I think the SS, I think the SS has better handling than the Z28. Obviously, it'd be pathetic if it was worse. But like, I think the SVT has the handling aspect. With the power, I think it kind of depends on what race you're dealing with. I think the Camaro definitely has the. I was wondering if I could hit those little signs. I think the Camaro has the quickness off the line, and I think the Mustang has better late gear acceleration. I think the Mustang just kind of has a lot of torque that slows it down. It kind of spins the wheels a little bit more. Camaro seems to be a little bit more off the line. I think that's because this Camaro style was around for a lot longer than the Mustang, so I think they're just kind of working that stuff out. That's just my opinion. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but I kind of get the vibe that the Camaro was just a little bit more established as compared to the Mustang SVT. But SVT looks great. Seems a little bit more, in terms of the handling, it seems a little bit better. The 2000 Camaro seems to be a little bit more slidey on the corners. That's just kind of my vibe on that. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but it just seems like it loses its handling a little bit more. Also, the gears are a little bit weird. It seems like it has some issues there. So it seems like it just, like the way you set up the gears, it just kind of slows itself down. It can't, like I would have to do a lot more gear work with it, and the Mustang seems to be a little bit more naturally balanced. So that's kind of that. We'll get to that with the Mustang more in a second, but now we'll switch over to that now. Alrighty, now we're switching over to the Mustang SVT Cobra R, also I think made in 2000. The new body style came out, I think, in 99, so this was like a pretty new style car, because it was in Gran Turismo 2, but they didn't have the SVT Cobra R, they just had the regular Mustang SVT. So, I don't know if that makes a difference too much, but I'm definitely getting the vibe that this car is a little bit slower. I mean, horsepower-wise, it is a little bit slower, but it seems already like it slides a little bit, but the sliding is much more manageable compared to the Camaro. So we'll see if what I thought about was true with the upper gears. It seems like the Camaro is much quicker off the line, and then the SVT seems to be like its acceleration seems to be a little bit more steady, which I think that's just, I mean, I don't know if that's just a gear thing. That could literally just be a gear situation, but we'll see. It just seems like the Mustang is geared. It can handle lower. It's like it can handle lower RPMs. It can handle upper level RPMs as well. I noticed with the Camaro, you basically should downshift if you're to maximize the Camaro. You should downshift way earlier, and then as a result of that, you can actually sustain the car's acceleration. It seems like it's set up in a way that it really struggles with upper RPMs, and the Mustang seems to just kind of not have that problem. The Mustang is a little bit slower in terms of horsepower, so it doesn't like. I think the Camaro would overall be a faster car, but I'm noticing that the Mustang is a little bit more efficient with that power. The Camaro seems to be it seems to struggle a lot more in higher RPMs compared to the Mustang. The Mustang seems to be way more consistent with its power. And yeah, I definitely have noticed here the handling on the Mustang is very good. It's much grippier. It stays on the road. It stays controlled a lot more. It just seems like it knows what it's doing a little more. I mean, that's the thing with the Camaro is the Camaro was not a newer model car, so you're upgrading a 90s Camaro Z28 essentially with the Camaro SS, and the Mustang SVT was brand new at that time. You know, they get the upgraded tech, brand new body style, looks different, performs different than the 98 one. So I think that's where that comes from, is you have a little bit more of a you have a little bit newer technology with the Mustang, which is why the handling is better. It seems like the transmissions are set up a little bit better. And the handling is just so much better too. That's not even a contest. But I am noticing though, the power, I think I was off when I said this earlier, where the Camaro seems to be quicker off the line and then slower at the higher gears. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think it's more, to rephrase what I said then, what it actually is that the Camaro is just not as efficient with its power and tends to slow down a lot more as it gets to higher RPMs, which I think is why I thought that the Mustang was better at that. It's more that the Camaro is just kind of bad at that. You know, the Camaro has more power, so I think in a way it doesn't really affect it as much as I thought it was, or thought it would, but I think that's why the Mustang seems to be a little bit more reliable when it comes to power distribution. But the Camaro definitely seems to be faster. I mean, obviously it has more horsepower, but also it seems to just, that actually is pretty much it. It's just got more horsepower. The Mustang does not have that power, but the Mustang has the grip, the handling, It seems to handle itself way better. It stays grounded on the road. It doesn't slide out a lot more. And then the gears are set up in a way that you would basically need to be using the Camaro manually and then downshift way before you get to the red line. But with the Mustang, that doesn't seem to be as much of a problem. So that's kind of an interesting little tidbit. I think the Mustang sounds way better. That doesn't really matter in terms of performance, but they really nailed the Mustang sound. I've actually ridden a Mustang before. I haven't ridden a Camaro before, but I've ridden a Mustang, and it's pretty nailed. It's pretty spot on. So they did a good job with that. I like the Mustang in this game. The red is awesome. You know, all the little extra body work is very good on the Mustang. The Camaro literally just looks like another Z28, but with updated headlights. It feels like that's what they did with the Camaro SS. They just basically added a little bit more power and then put on some new headlights. The taillights look very, very similar, if not exactly identical. So that's kind of one of those things where you're like, all right, like, how much did y'all charge for this car when it was new? Like, it doesn't feel like it was totally worth it. But that's just my opinion. I definitely do notice that the Mustang is just so good. I just was sliding it around the corners there, hitting some grass, and it stays under control very well. It's a good car. They're both great. I'm not disapproving of either one of these cars. They're both fantastic. It's just noticeable that, yeah, this is more simple than I thought. It's just the Mustang is the slower handling one, better for new drivers. The Camaro is more, once you get the feel of how this game drives, you can use the Camaro SS, have a little bit more fun trying to keep it under control, because part of the fun of games like this is driving a car that's kind of out of control and stabilizing it and keeping it under control. Mustang is good, definitely more in the handling department, and I don't remember my time for the Camaro, but I think I'm going to get pretty close with the Mustang, despite the fact that the Mustang has less power. I think it's just because that handling helps compensate for its lack of power. So, good cars, both amazing. This body style I didn't quite like. I liked the 98 style more. I liked the less boxy look. The Mustang now obviously looks amazing, but this version of it is very boxy, very rigid, and I think that's one of those things where it's deceiving how good its handling is, because it seems like it wouldn't handle well because it seems so rigid, but it's got some curve to it. So I like it. I think I would, because of the way I drive in these games, I tend to drive more aggressively. I would have more fun driving the Camaro, but I think I don't know which one I like more. So whichever one you think is best, let me know in the comments, because I don't really know, honestly. It's hard to, this isn't as clear as opposed to, when you race with the GT1, one of them has, hundreds of horsepower more. The Camaro and the Mustang have like less than 100 horsepower difference, so it's not super noticeable. I think we'll notice it more on the max speed test, but for now, I think I would just narrowly give it to the Camaro, but it's really close. The Mustang is a very good car. So is the Camaro. I mean, the fun of having a car out of control like the Camaro is that you spin out more, you have more fun like that, but then the Mustang, it can just grip like a beast. So I think I would give it narrowly to the Camaro, but again, I want to see what y'all think. What do y'all think? So let me know in the comments, and now we'll switch over to the AI. Alrighty, so here we go. This is a hilarious race. So we've got the Camaro, we've got the Mustang SVT Cobra R in this race. I'm the Grand Sport. We have another Grand Sport, a Viper, and then finally up in front we have the Cobra. This race was hilarious. I basically was just trying to get the Camaro and the Cobra to fight, so I was pushing everybody else out of the way. It worked out pretty well. The Cobra always spins out for sure. The Cobra always spins out for sure. I don't know if y'all saw that there. I pushed the Grand Sport out of the way because I was like, dude, get out of the way. I want the Cobra and the Camaro to fight, battle it out, see who's the best between them. You'll see how that backfires later. It's pretty funny stuff. I pushed the Viper forward, so I was like, okay, I can push him away. Then I pushed him too much, so then he starts sliding like a fool. I go shoot, so then the Viper gets passed by the Camaro, then also gets passed by the Cobra, so I was like, all right, we're still back on here. The Cobra's just going to slide on that corner for some reason. So then I was like, all right, now I got to mess up the Viper to get him out of the way, because I don't want him to catch up, because I think technically the Viper is better than both the Camaro and the Mustang. So I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. So he actually almost hit the Mustang, which confirmed that. I decided to strike, push the Viper, he goes flying, and then the Cobra does this, whatever the heck he's doing here. I'm not really sure what he was trying to do there. And so now it's just me and this other Camaro, or wait, other Corvette. I'm like, all right, I'm going to push him out of the way just to finalize it. Not too broken because I wanted him secretly to win because I was also driving a Corvette Grand Sport. So I was like, I'm just going to get him a little bit more behind so that the Mustang and the Camaro can keep battling for first because it makes it more impressive of a rivalry match if they're battling for first. And then I figured, well, I'll just kind of watch everybody else, see how they do as AI. They seem to do fine. But there's going to be a plot twist coming, and it's going to be hilarious. I felt a little bit bad for the Cobra because he started behind the Camaro, and he's literally behind him by about the length that he would have passed him. So I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to push just a little bit. I'm going to push the Cobra just a little bit forward. Just give him a little bit of a boost of speed on the most, I guess it's technically the highest speed area of the course up until the straightaway, obviously. So I pushed him a little bit here, but you're going to see some crazy stuff. I won't talk anymore after this. After this replay, I'm going to do a max speed test for both cars, but enjoy this hilarity of the rest of this race. Peace.